Deputy Presiding Officer, Mr. Deputy Presiding Officer, let me begin by sincerely thanking my constituents of Bagatelle Bacolet for their continued support. After decades of living in darkness across Bagatelle Bacolet, we can finally celebrate street lights with Celestial View, French Fort, Cradley, Bacolet Point, Bacolet Ines Development, and other parts of the constituency. So when the Tobago version of the Trinidad PNM comes at your doorstep, tell them to vote for the anchor. To the wider Tobago electorate at home and abroad, the scripture says, "Take heed that no man deceives you, for many shall come in my name and say, I am Christ, and shall deceive many." For the PNM soweth division, corruption, alienation, hatred, spite, vindictiveness, and naked oppression, and in December 2021, they reaped what they sowed. Let me remind Tobagonians to never forget the weaponization of the PNM state against all of Tobago, even those who voted for the PNM. Poor handling of cargo ferry affecting food supplies, Tobago suffers. Delays in granting blast license to the Division of Infrastructure, Tobago suffers. Licensing assault on our vehicle owners, Tobago suffers. Heartless wrecking of vehicles in Scarborough, Tobago suffers. They even brace a Tobagonian with a summary offense threat for not having the driver's permit. But when a cabinet minister did not transfer the ownership of a Porsche, that summary offense did not attract the attention of the licensing department in Trinidad. All a crude PNM political strategy to keep us hungry. And when we have to unite for self-determination in Tobago, our brothers have to be our enemy. The time needed to transform this island into the greatest little island on the planet requires a steady hand of disciplined, dedicated, progressive, innovative, and empowering governance, which requires the TPP to lead this transformation. Deputy Presiding Officer, to my hard-working staff, Assistant Secretary, Administrator, and all of the members in this House, I sincerely thank you for signing on to the vision of transforming Tobago into the greatest little island on the planet. Due to our team approach towards everything we have accomplished so far within the 2.5 years, that should not go without acknowledgement. A special thank you to the staff of Agriculture and Tractor Pool for attempting to clear the 300 backlog of over 300 farmers waiting for tractor services with the spanking new wheel tractors, 6 of them purchased by the division. Deputy Presiding Officer, I want to strongly point out that this administration would have exercised prudent spending to ensure that the Division of Food Security, Natural Resources, the Environment, and Sustainable Development got some relief from this mischievous PNM central government, who allocated a further $400 million in 2024 to improve agriculture in Trinidad, and less than $4 million after I pay wages to improve the agricultural sector in Tobago. This secretary and her division didn't even have the luxury of receiving $56 million this fiscal to fix the agricultural sector in Tobago. But the PNM government allocated in Trinidad $56 million to build a zoo to cage up innocent animals, while leaving unaccountable individuals responsible for the missing $3 billion unpunished. Madam Presiding Officer, if there's a will, there's a way. And we are praying people at the Division of Food Security. It is important for us to appreciate the malaise of the agriculture sector and other sectors inherited by this division. Deputy Presiding Officer, the absence of adequate information to allow for strategic planning and sustainable development of the various sectors prevailed. The last agriculture census was conducted in 2004 with the assistance of the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization. There was none conducted by the Central Statistical Office in 2013, when it was statutorily due 2 years after the population and housing census. In 2004, there were 969 commercial farmers in Tobago on 2,042 hectares of land, but this was down from 1,966 commercial farmers on 5,872 hectares in 1982. Deputy Presiding Officer, the sector lost over 1,000 farmers and 3,000 hectares or over 7,400 acres of productive agriculture between 1982 and 2004. This brings clearly to our realization the challenge of achieving the objective of food security for the island in an environment of increased rates of population growth, inter-island ferry uncertainties, and the pressing issues surrounding the impact of climate change. The absence of a robust agriculture policy with adequate support for the capital investment needed for the sector is among the main reasons for the decline in agriculture in Tobago. Deputy Presiding Officer, this administration is therefore acutely aware of the need to arrest these structural issues with sound policy, leveraging technology, institutional strengthening, and efficiency in the delivery of enabling goods and services to our stakeholders in the sector. The overall policy must therefore address all three levels, namely home gardening, commercial agriculture, and export agriculture. Similarly, in the area of marine resources and fisheries, we must enhance commercial and export fisheries and ensure that the biodiversity of the island and vegetative coverage remains robust and managed in a sustainable way. In the process, Deputy Presiding Officer, we will resuscitate the sector and place it on a productive and sustainable footing for which the island will be proud and the economic, social, and environmental goals are met. Deputy Presiding Officer, at the 30th sitting of this House on the 23rd of May, I moved a motion for the Tobago House of Assembly to adopt the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs. The motion urged the Tobago House of Assembly to align its Tobago development strategy, namely the greatest little island on the planet, to the SDGs, and also align all aspects of policy formulation and implementation to the SDGs. Deputy Presiding Officer, I thank all members for their participation and approval of this motion. I am pleased to highlight that this budget for fiscal 2024-2025 aligns with the Sustainable Development Goals and the Tobago Development Strategy. Deputy Presiding Officer, this alignment was completed even before I received an invitation to attend the Regional Seminar for Parliaments of the Caribbean, where more than 50 participants from Barbados, Cuba, Dominica, Grenada, Guyana, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, Suriname, Trinidad and Tobago, and Cayman Islands gathered in Port of Spain from the 27th to the 29th of May 2024 to discuss the state of climate change impacts in the Caribbean and making loss and damage and climate finance a reality to support the achievement of climate and sustainable development goals. Two of the key actions identified included advocating for the reform of global finance and to make use of existing parliamentary powers and prerogatives for enhanced involvement in discussions and decisions related to climate finance and enhanced transparency and accountability of government action. Deputy Presiding Officer, I love it when Tobago leads and others follow. Aligned to Pillar 1 of the greatest little island on the planet and improve per capita standard of living, our budget has allotted $2 million. Aligned to SDGs 1, 2, 8, 10, and 6 in the area of Pillar 4 and efficient, effective, and accountable public service, we have allotted $14 million. Aligned to SDGs 16, 8, 17, 9, and 10, $18 million is allotted to Pillar 9, a united, peaceful, safe, and secure population. Aligned to SDGs 16, 11, 13, 14, 15, 3, and 17. $58 million is allotted to Pillar 10, green, modern, state-of-the-art public infrastructure, aligned to SDGs 7, 9, 6, 11, and 10, and $14 million to Pillar 11, food security, aligned to SDGs 2, 1, 12, 15, 11, 14, 13, and 3. Deputy Presiding Officer, allow me to highlight some of this division's achievements which contribute to the Sustainable Development Goals. SDG 1, 2, and 3, no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being. Total registered home gardeners, 970. 24 training sessions conducted by Plant Tissue Culture Laboratory, inclusive of subculture operations and aseptic techniques and use of autoclave. 4 lab tours and experiments that led to further propagation of new plantlets in breadfruit, avocado, ginger, and plantains. In May 2024, the home gardening team conducted a training session and demonstration on crop production for inmates at the Tobago Prison Service. It was a successful and interactive session as inmates were able to learn new skills and improve their knowledge on crop production. Crops they transplanted included lettuce, tomato, pachoy, melangen, sweet pepper, pimentos, beans, and herbs. All registered government schools, including early childhood centers and one home for the aged, have received self-watering hydroponic systems as at March 2024. Giant African snail eradication, 189 exercises conducted with 129,643 snails destroyed between 2023 and 2024. Extension officers visited 488 crop farmers and 220 livestock farmers, 95 mixed farmers between 2023 and 2024. Veterinary officers visited 381 private farms and responded to 427 government concerns on government farms between 2023 to 2024. Planned quarantine unit, they conducted 284 airport inspections, 46 cruise inspections, and seized 612 items between 2023 and 2024. Between October 2023 and March 2024, number of bee colonies inspected by the APRIS unit, 340. SDG 7, SDG 11, and SDG 13, affordable and clean energy, sustainable cities and communities, climate action. Installation of solar panels at the Bloody Bay Rest Stop and Orientation Center. Partnership with UNDP to electrify the science lab at the Speyside High School with a solar system. Install a solar water heater at the Speyside Health Center to support all hot water needs. 15 kilowatt standalone solar system at the Charlottesville Methodist Primary School. In the event of a power outage, the school will get its electricity needs. Partnership with the Ministry of Energy to outfit Scarborough Methodist, Signal Hill Government Primary, Castara Government Primary, and Bishop's High School with a 7 kilowatt solar PV system. This will build climate resilience and support disaster management and preparedness in light of climate change. The launch of the Tobago Electric Transport Project, a partnership with EIDCOT for electric vehicle charging stations. Approximately 20 sites across Tobago have been identified to support sustainable transportation and support the growing adoption of electric vehicles. EIDCOT is taking the lead on this. SDG 8, decent work and economic growth. Wages increase for all categories of workers under the reforestation program. Madam Presiding Officer, imagine there were workers in the program working for as low as $86.25 per day. This administration fixed that, and now all NIS payments are up to date for these workers. Low estate, cocoa rehab, invasive control, mistletoe workers also receive wage increases in line with daily rated workers with all their benefits. Deputy Presiding Officer, the focus of TADCO is to provide decent work and foster economic growth. As an innovative strategy, TADCO piloted the Poultry Contract Farming Initiative, which resulted in 67 poultry contract farmers participating in the project between 2022 and 2023. 21 Tobago farmers participated in the Lamb Fest in 2023, and 5,145 pounds of lamb meat was purchased from them at a cost of $128,625. TADCO received revenue from the capital of Paradise 1 from 2022 to present in the amount of $3,445,636.49, and revenues from dry storage, cold storage, ice, feed, and livestock from 2022 to present in the amount of $9,423,368.32. The SetNet Restoration Project. The division and TADCO worked together to finally bring the SetNet to Tobago in 2023. This SetNet was given to Tobago by the Japan International Cooperation Agency, but it was in Trinidad and not in operation for 20 years. This SetNet would now be used to develop the Tobago's bait industry. While consultation began with fisherfolk in November 2023, the recent oil spill delayed this project. And Deputy Presiding Officer, I just want to remind the minority again and again and again that the Novo company actually purchased fresh produce from farmers and engage in processing. But because they didn't understand the mandate and created so much problems in this space, the farmers didn't quite get to understand their contribution. However, Novo has moved on into Canada, Guyana, and to Suriname. They have set up a lot of new technologies, cutting-edge technologies in agro-processing, and of course, they continue to support the stakeholders of different countries except Tobago, because the minority communicated wrong information. So you see how you can miss out on opportunities. Deputy Presiding Officer.
Members.
Deputy Presiding Officer, the Prime Minister isn't here to scold him, so he will talk.
Member for Bacatel. Member for Darrell Springwim. I'd like you to allow the member to finish the presentation.
Deputy Presiding Officer, can I have a ruling on the standing order, please? If you think proper about it, and have the member withdraw that statement.
Member, I see no.
But is it
No,
true?
irrelevant.
Yeah, is it true? But he just said it earlier.
Absolutely no conversation with an investor as being responsible, and I take absolutely no responsibility. So it's incompetence.
Deputy Presiding Officer.
Member for Bacatel, continue, please.
Deputy Presiding Officer, I want to digress a bit to demonstrate how this administration repaired and upgraded 7 facilities with $390,942.98 and constructed 15 access roads, while the last administration refurbished 1 facility, the Scarborough Market, with $48 million. Notably, this Tobago version of the Trinidad PNM was about inflating the cost of projects and therefore deliberately underdeveloping the island, especially as it relates to agriculture. They wanted to create a Tobago that is 100% dependent on Trinidad while violating the principles of reducing corruption in all its forms as required in SDG 16. Deputy Presiding Officer, let us look at these 7 facilities that only cost $18,390,942.98. Repair works to the worker facility at Studley Park Nurseries at a cost of $341,629.50, VAT inclusive, by a Tobago contractor. Fisher folk are actually using the Barbados Bay Fish Facility after its repair and upgrade at a cost of $1,515,066.50, VAT inclusive, by a Tobago contractor. Repair and upgrade to livestock pens at Hope Farm, Louisdor Demonstration Unit, and Charlotteville Breeding Unit at a cost of $1,748,458.22, VAT inclusive, by Tobago contractors. Repair and upgrade to Charlotteville Craft Market at a cost of $137,377.35, VAT inclusive, and this was completed with in-house labor. Upgrade of Shore Park Food Hub at a cost of $1,461,214.68, VAT inclusive, by a Tobago contractor. Agricultural Access Roads Program, all executed by Tobago contractors. 15 roads commenced in May at Belmont, Gibbergully, Mount St. George, Windsor Link Road, Cradley Trace, Connector Roads, and Grenadian Hill, Bell Garden, at an estimated cost of $11,369,631.58 and should be completed by September 2024. Points are now being picked up for another access road program for fiscal 2024-2025. Deputy Presiding Officer, listen to how much work this division did with just $18,390,942.98 compared to $48 million for the Scarborough Market, and the market is still in need of upgrades. Madam Presiding Officer, I am sure more than the $3 billion is missing under the PNM government. Deputy Presiding Officer, I will now speak about projects that are expected to begin the last quarter of this fiscal. Repairs to Culloden Fish Facility, project awarded to a Tobago contractor and work has commenced. Repairs and upgrade to locker storage at Charlottesville, project awarded to a Tobago contractor and work to commence in July. Repairs and upgrade to Roxborough Fish Facility, project awarded to a Tobago contractor and work to commence in July. Repairs and upgrade to the Buku Training Facility, procurement process almost complete. Repairs and upgrades to Louisdor Processing Facility, procurement process almost complete. Construction of Palliative Fish Facility Phase 2, procurement process almost complete. And with this facility, the foundation was done over a decade by the PNM. So this administration will now construct the facility. Drainage at the Scarborough Fish Facility, work to be done in-house. Construction of tractor pool storage shed to be done both in-house and with a contractor. Construction of workers' facility and installation of tire changer. Various tasks to be completed to ensure OSH compliance. Estimated cost of work, $5 million. Upgrade of laboratory facility for tissue culture, entomology and plant pathology. Upgrades to be done with in-house labor. Work is necessary at the laboratory to eradicate mold infestation at a cost of $200,000. Painting of the building, changing partitions to concrete board, construction of an external wash-up area, and construction of footbath in the hardening area. Research and development of information systems, RADIS. Equipment has been purchased to allow for more sophisticated method of collecting data. This unit conducted a survey local utilization of agro-processing products in Tobago businesses 2024. A total of 107 businesses within Tobago were engaged and relevant information gathered. Prices on selected agricultural commodities are collected weekly from 15 greengrocers, 8 supermarkets, and the Scarborough market. Currently, 353 farmers and 131 agro-processors are in the Research and Information Unit database. Repair work has also been prioritized for the Bloody Bay Rest Stop, Buku Fish Facility, Scarborough Abattoir, and the Scarborough Botanical Garden fence. And the procurement process for all these upgrades has begun. Consultations to inform the designs for the construction of the food hubs, market-type facilities took place in 2023 for Mason Hall and Roxborough, and one fish facility for King Peter's Bay Road. Designs have been already submitted. Materials to repair the 2 bird viewing platforms on Little Tobago have been procured, and trail signs also procured, and they will be installed in July 2024. The Executive Council approved the engagement of the IDCUT for the construction of a new veterinary diagnostic laboratory, where the first phase of this project will involve the completion of a feasibility study, pre-design consultation to identify the desired products and services to be offered at the lab, as well as fashion the appropriate physical structure to house the lab. A similar approach will be adopted for the building of the abattoir at the Hope Estate. The Agri-Tech Conference. This project has 5 phases and planning has begun. The goals and objectives of the conference: exploring emerging trends and innovations in agri-tech to benefit stakeholders, fostering partnerships and collaborations between the division, industry experts, farmers, and technology innovators, promoting sustainable practices and their role in ensuring long-term viability of agriculture, improving agricultural practices and outputs over time by developing the KSAs, knowledge, skills, and aptitudes, and making them available to the stakeholders. Phase 1 has already been complete, preliminary research and analysis, a comprehensive review of current agri-tech trends and innovations, and identification of key industry experts, farmers, and technology innovators for potential collaboration in conjunction with the technical team at the Division of Food Security. Phase 2 is ongoing, and that involves conference planning. Deputy Presiding Officer, if you listen carefully, you would hear that everything was run down and needed to be fixed, which signals abandonment of the agricultural sector by the Tobago version of the Trinidad PNM. Madam Deputy Presiding Officer, we will offer all these projects, so I'm hoping that Tobago would get the money that is legally owed to pay these off. Hopefully, Senator Lawrence Hislop wouldn't whisper to his Trinidad colleagues that we do not need more money, because he has a track record of not wanting more money for Tobago. When he's walking around Tobago North and Tobago East campaigning for the Trinidad PNM, I hope he's reminding Tobago people that the PNM implemented a huge property tax and it is due September 30th, 2024. SDG 12, Responsible Consumption and Production. The division collected approximately 1,785 pounds of garbage from wetlands in March 2024, and the division facilitated the collection of the recycled plastic bottles, aluminum cans, Tetra Packs, and other garbage in the amount of 23,827 kilograms between October 2023 and March 2024. Life below water. The division refurbished the Safari 3 vessel at a cost of $79,170 by a Tobago contractor and conducted ongoing joint surveillance of the Bucca Reef Marine Park with the TTPS and the Coast Guard, which began in March 2024. The division, in partnership with the Institute of Marine Affairs, with the support of BPTT, the Division of Tourism, Culture and Antiquities and Transportation, Tobago Emergency Management Agency and Land Management under the Office of the Chief Secretary, embarked on a 5-year marine resilience initiative, which started in May 2024. Following an 18-month pilot, this project aims to implement coral and seagrass rehabilitation strategies to maintain biodiversity and support livelihoods in Tobago. In February 2024, a pilot reef restoration study was done using innovative artificial reef technologies in conjunction with Bucca Reef Trust and experts from the Dutch company Boskalis. SDG 15, Life on Land. The division produced approximately 5,000 hardwood seedlings such as cedar, stick mahogany, and we also held consultations for the preparation of user fee guidelines for Corland Heritage Park and Little Tobago in conjunction with the reforestation program. The division also recruited 80 honorary game wardens to curb poaching and illegal activity. The division established a pollinator garden at the Scarborough Botanic Gardens and at Corland Heritage Park between 2023 and 2024. SDG 2 and 17, Zero Hunger and Partnerships for Goals. Mega Farming Committee, the Mega Farming Development Committee, Coordinating Committee, recognized the importance of cocoa and the fact that cocoa has in the past contributed to the socio-economic development of the country. Several attempts were made by the government of Trinidad and Tobago in the past to rehabilitate the cocoa industry. Their attempt led to the creation of the Cocoa Board of Trinidad and Tobago in 1945. However, the cocoa industry still declined. Against the aforementioned information, the committee, in collaboration with the Tobago Agribusiness Development Company, held 2 consultations with cocoa enthusiasts in Tobago in December 14, 2023 and March 7, 2024. The first consultation engaged in a fact-finding mission about present-day issues in the industry, and the second consultation provided strategies for the rehabilitation of cocoa sector in Tobago. This led to the consideration of a public-private partnership arrangement with TAGCO and Trinidad Fine Cocoa Company, and also the Tobago Reforestation Program, to foster the rehabilitation of the cocoa industry on the entire island. Another useful partnership was formed with the Cocoa and Coffee Industry Board, Tobago ARC, and Trinidad Fine Cocoa Limited, which led to the training of 22 workers from the Tobago Reforestation and Watershed Rehabilitation Program in cocoa production at the Turpin Family, Charlottesville Estate. The training also
included, you have 2 minutes of speaking time remaining.
Pest management and nursery management with the hope of matriculation of the reforestation program workers outside of the company and into the cocoa industry. The division also submitted a proposal to Digicel and Shell and was successful in obtaining funding to purchase 2 bird squawker deterrent systems to assist with parrot and cockrecrow control, which are common bird pests to cocoa and other agricultural commodities in Tobago. The coordinating executive was part of an intense 2-day fact-finding mission in Trinidad with the Department of Agriculture with the hope of sourcing, assessing, and eventually purchasing purebred parent breeding stock to improve the genetics of small ruminants and other animals such as rabbits on the demonstration stations in Tobago. This would also support the Small Ruminants Development Project, where the division seeks to acquire 1,000 lambs and 500 goat kids to rapidly expand the productivity capacity and improve the economic viability of the small ruminant industry in Tobago. Notable benefits to participants in the Small Ruminants Project: a certificate of participation from the Tobago Agricultural Research Institute and the division, access to veterinary services and professional services, access to specialized training including records and production management strategies, small ruminant slaughter and meat fabrication training, management of non-genetic factors, and management and care of newborn lambs and kids. Preferential access to large commercial pool of young stock when they become available. The executive will recommission a mango pulper that was not in use for almost a decade. Ripe mangoes will be collected and processed into molasses for use as an energy source for ruminants and other animals. Also, forages will be harvested and processed into bales for access by farmers. The executive will continue to upgrade infrastructure needs.
Member, your speaking time has expired. Honorable members, the question is that an additional 10 minutes of speaking time be given to the member for Bagatelle Bacalet to finish your presentation. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any against? Continue your presentation.
Thank you, colleagues. Additional plans for fiscal 2024-2025, fresh produce data collection drive from schools, from school feeding service providers, hospitals, and hotels. This is in an effort to create a local fresh produce supply chain from farm to school, farm to patient, and farm to tourists. The data gleaned would create a centralized market for local farmers and agripreneurs, uniting farms with schools, healthcare, and tourism. This would be the Farm Connect initiative, which would inextricably link the inextricably linked to the Mega Farming Development Program. Development of a herb and spice production unit and tea bar agrotourism experience. The Mega Farming Development Program Coordinating Executive Committee intends to develop a product called the Tobago Spices Holistic Wellness Experience at Goldsboro Estate. The refurbishment of 3 shade houses and installation of irrigation systems is currently being done in-house, and contractual services will be procured to build a tea house and orientation center. The Tobago Agriculture Research Institute, TARI, is collaborating with the University of Trinidad and Tobago to offer the diploma and certificate courses in agriculture to Tobago students. TARI's committee is working on a recruitment drive to recruit prospective students for its first cohort in September. The practical elements of these courses will be executed at the Kendall Farm School and other TARI participative units. Infrastructural upgrades will begin next fiscal to accommodate both teaching and practical elements and to include a laboratory that will serve both students and the public. SDG 5 and SDG 10, gender equality, reduce inequalities. In April 2024, the division partnered with ICA Trinidad and Tobago to conduct a 2-day training, which was geared towards strengthening the local supply chain for better domestic marketing for export readiness. This journey began with a program launched by the division on March 8, 2024 for the first time, where the division celebrated the extraordinary women driving Tobago's agriculture and natural resources sector forward. This initiative was guided by the division slogan, "It's a science, it's a business." We were privileged to have Dr. Lisa Harinanan of ICA, Gaspard Taylor of Network of Rural Women Producers, Trinidad and Tobago, Tamika Seals and Chanel Braffett to share their wisdom and experience, emphasizing the importance of gender equality and sustainability in agriculture. 122 participants were in attendance, including artisans, farmers, agro-processors, fish processors, makers of body and skin care products, and horticulturists. Stakeholders happily participated and continue to benefit from a series of workshops, including an agro-processors forum in May, which the division hosted together with the business development unit, which resulted in greater awareness of available incentives. The renewed revival of the sector resulted in an increase in membership under the Agro-Processors Association, and recommendations were made for increases in grant funding as well as increasing the ease of access of these grants. In July this year, the British High Commission, in collaboration with Women-Owned Media and Education Network, will launch a UK-funded initiative, Grow Smart, empowering rural women in sustainable agricultural practices. The High Commission will partner with us for this event and host future sessions geared towards improving the sector. Deputy Presiding Officer, the achievements of the reforestation program are also aligned to the SDGs, and some of their deliverables: commissioning of a bucket truck and offering services to the public. Scarborough Botanic Garden Christmas Glitz 2023 saw over 11,000 persons from all over Tobago, including foreigners, and provided support for over 17 vendors. The Christmas Glitz involved several movie nights on the greens, and it was so successful that Senator Hislop tried to host one on the Moriah playing field for Easter, and I was reliably informed that only 14 PNM people attended from all over Tobago. Madam Presiding Officer, that figure is probably more than the number of people that contested positions in the last internal election. Deputy Presiding Officer, for Easter 2024, the Reforestation Program also held an Easter extravaganza at the Scarborough Botanic Gardens, which supported over 8 vendors, and hundreds of Tobagonians attended the movie night on the greens. I must pause here to say that the new version of the Reforestation Program under this administration has achieved so many remarkable things in a short space of time that I must say special thanks to the board members, the management, and the staff of this company. The Reforestation Program continues to provide a means of employment for 115 persons. This program refurbished the steps at Friendsfield to assist the elderly. They participated in the oil spill cleanup, and they co-hosted a public consultation with the Department of Forestry for the user fee implementation and user policy for the Courland Heritage Park. They have partnered with the EMA, the Department of Forestry, and the Village Council in Lekito to replant a riparian strip in Lekito, submitted a proposal and got approval for US $20,000 under the UNDP Small Grants Program for a Bagatelle Bacolet Community Group Bay Leaf and Spice Tea project. This year, the Reforestation Program part-funded the Zion Hill Youth Association's second Breadfruit Festival. And lastly, but certainly not least, through the BioReach project, the Reforestation Program will be the project managers, where there will be a study on the white-tailed saber-winged hummingbird. Deputy Presiding Officer, when I requested reports from my lead officers, I did not receive a few pages, but each department presented an epistle that it would take an entire day to report on the success of this division and the success of this administration. I want to end here by asking Tobagonians, what did the last administration achieve under food security for the last 21 years? I can say confidently that this administration has unlocked the division's sustainable development potential. Over to you now, minority, and to your political leader who wears white boots.